Brian called me yesterday, and I can pull it up right here on my phone. Here it is. Hopefully you guys can see this. This call came in yesterday at 4:06 p.m., and it would last 6 long minutes. Folks, when this call came in, it was 6 minutes after I uploaded yesterday's video, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the standard time when I do upload videos. And yesterday's video was called Brian is Going to Prison. 6 minutes after that video went up, Brian would call me. And a phone call would last between him and I for 6 minutes. Now, folks, when I saw his name pop up on my caller ID, this is the last person that I ever expected to be calling me. And I don't really know why I was so surprised, but I was. And I almost hesitated. I did hesitate. I hesitated long enough to think to myself, am I going to answer this call? And where is a damn camera at? Folks, I wish I would have filmed this, but I didn't. But folks, I'm pretty sure you're very curious to know what Brian had to say. And I'm getting ready to share with you guys this absolutely insane phone call right now. Folks, when I picked up this phone, hesitating, for at least a couple of rings as to whether or not I was even going to pick this call up, but I did. Brian would simply say to me, and this is pretty much like the best reenactment of this phone call I can give you, minus having this on film. I picked up the call, I said, hello, and Brian would say, Joe? Basically just like that. And I said, yeah. And Brian would say, do you got a second? And I would say, yes, Brian, I do. What's going on? Brian would go on to tell me that he apologizes. He said, look, hey, I'm sorry that this happened. He says, I never meant for this to happen. I never meant to leave you in such a messed up situation. And I understand if you had to do what you had to do. Now, looking back on this phone call in hindsight and that part right there, I feel like maybe he was testing the waters to see, whether or not I really did press the charges. Mind you, only 6 minutes prior, I had uploaded a video of me going to the police station to press these charges. Maybe he hadn't seen that video yet. Maybe somebody did, or maybe he did, and he just couldn't believe it. This is a guy that runs AfterPrisonShow, for God's sake. There's no way he went and pressed these charges for real. I did. I damn sure did. Brian called trying to fish for information, I assume, wanting to know whether or not it was for real that I pressed these charges. And he would say, I understand if you had to do what you had to do. And I said, cool. Because Brian, you effed up majorly. I said, not only did you lie about the HVAC and everything else, the $1,000, the things that you stole, the door, the fuse box, it's almost becoming like a broken record at this point. And as I'm mentioning all of these things, there was never a, no, I didn't. There was never a, you're right, I did. All there was another apology. Joe, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I never meant for this to happen. Well, Brian, it's too late to apologize, like that song goes. And I feel like I've said this before. Had you just came to me and said, hey, look, man, I got some things coming up. I got court coming up, and I'm thinking about going on the run and, whatever. Maybe I would have tried to talk you out of that. Maybe I could have came to court for you. Maybe a, character witness. Hey, look, the guy's trying. But you didn't do that at all, and instead what you did was you stole from me and lied to me. And yes, you did. You left me in a very messed up situation. So even though you wouldn't necessarily confirm all of the things that I was throwing at you, all of these accusations of things that you have done, by you just saying that you were sorry, I think that's guilt enough right there. But neither here nor there, because folks, we still have like 4 minutes left of this phone call. Brian's point for calling me, aside from fishing to see whether or not I really did Jokashi 6'9" this MFer, I feel like was also to try to negotiate. Because, well, that's absolutely what he was trying to do. Brian would say, hey, look, man, I'm sorry for all of this. He was like, and I want to try to make this up to you. I never meant for this to happen. And you want to know what's crazy about all of this? And this is going to sound crazy. Is a part of me kind of believes that. Because you got to look at certain things. Like, the quality of work the guy was doing, the tile on the backsplash in the shower, the tile on the floor in the bathroom, he really was working when he was working. The electrical seems to be okay. But then everything changed on Monday of last week when I paid him that $1,000, and then Tuesday of last week when I gave him that $800 for that HVAC system to just go into thin air. And then the things that he would end up stealing and then going and returning. But I do believe, initially, he never wanted this to happen. He never meant for this to happen. But I also think this too. He had to know this was not going to end well. He had to know that this stuff was upcoming, this court date that he was going to end up bucking on. And that was crossing his mind like, man, I'm not going to court. I'm going to go on the run. Folks, the charge is embezzlement. And granted, Brian has a very extensive criminal record. A lot of construction fraud, obtaining money under false pretenses. I'm sure at least a embezzlement charge. But the crazy thing about it is that particular charge that he had been fighting since last April of 2019, it was a misdemeanor. So just with that charge alone, and I don't know what else was out there. I don't know if there was a probation violation. I don't know if it was like, 3 strikes and you're out. I don't know that. But just that charge alone as a misdemeanor, the most time this man could have got was a year. And here in the state of Virginia, on misdemeanor time, you only do 50% of that. So this man was facing about 6 months. Maybe it was more. I don't know if there was anything else, but let's just say it was 6 months. Dude, you went on the run for a misdemeanor? It had to be deeper than that. We got to be missing something over here. And though you might have never meant for this to happen, you never wanted to do this, you knew this was upcoming, and the thought had crossed your mind, how can I best go about getting the most amount of money that can hold me over while I'm on the run? If I do choose to, in fact, go on the run. And then I got to ask this question as well. How are you not getting high? How are drugs not a part of your life? They have to absolutely be. For somebody to have as many of these type of charges as you do, dude, you got to be smoking SpaceX rocks. I just don't get it, man. Now, I got to be honest with you about this, too. This was almost a very, it wasn't almost. This absolutely was a very awkward conversation to be having. Because, here I am talking to a guy on the phone who used to work for me, who I used to have a lot of admiration for, and who I was honored at one point to have working for me and to know. But who also I had just recently went to the police station on, pressed charges on, filed a police report about what you had done. I'm talking, I'm a victim right now talking to the defendant. It's crazy to think about it like this. Like, damn, I'm talking to a dude that I literally just am, I'm in the process of trying to get you locked up right now. This shit was crazy. But Brian would, go on to question this whole filing the charges thing. Because I told him, I said, yeah, Brian, look, you're right. I had to do what I had to do. So I went and I pressed charges on you, and you got warrants out for your arrest right now. And he would ask me, he would say, do I have warrants out for my arrest, or did you just go file the police report? And I had to think about that for a second. I said, well, yes, you're right. So I said, yeah, Brian, I did just go file the police report. I can't confirm nor deny whether or not you've got these warrants out for your arrest, but sooner than later, you're going to have them. Sooner than later, you're going to have these warrants. And you're already on the run right now for embezzlement. Brian would tell me that he wanted to try to make this right, which was pretty shocking, folks. You stole a door and a fuse box amongst thousands of dollars. And you're calling me trying to make this right, or at least telling me that you want to. Brian said, Joe, look, I am so sorry. I want to try to make this right. How? Oh, God, man, you got to have some big balls to call somebody after you done stole a bunch of shit, stole money. But he called. He said, I want to try to make this right, and here's what I want to do. He's like, what's done is done. If the charges are there, the charges are there. He says, but I want to try to send you like $200 to $300 every 3 to 4 days. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm not even fazed by this. I'm not fazed by it because I'm thinking to myself, dude, you done lied about everything. You lied about $40 in the damn gas tank in the box truck. So I don't believe none of this. That's what I'm thinking. And also what I'm telling Brian. I said, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't believe none of this that you're saying. I don't believe none of it. He says, well, I guess all I can do then is show you. I said, look, man, I don't know what to tell you because I've already done what I've done. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to be talking to you or not. But whatever. If you want to try to pay me, okay. Okay. He says that way when or if I do get caught and I go to court for this, at least I can say that I tried to pay you. And again, do I honestly believe that this is going to happen? No. Like, how is it going to happen? I have all but exposed you to this entire local area, or at least tried to, via the internet. And I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. There's 3 things you can't outrun: a canine police dog, a police radio, and the internet. You ain't outrunning the internet. The internet will catch you every time. So who is going to put you to work? At least it ain't going to be nobody here. Maybe down in Mexico somewhere. Maybe in Arizona. I don't know where you going to go. And when I think about how much money you probably have to be on the run right now, it's probably maybe at the most $3,500 is what you started with. But you got to pay for everything. You got a vehicle that you damn sure shouldn't be driving, because that joint's going to ping every time you pass a police officer. They don't even got to run the tag, Brian. These police cars got scanners that can scan the license plate. And if that car is registered to you, you done. Because you got warrants. So I don't know why you calling me telling me you're going to try to make this right and pay me. And that's what I would tell him too. I said, Brian, I don't know what to tell you. This phone call, again, it was only 6 minutes, so it wouldn't last very long. But by the end of this phone call, Brian would tell me, hey, look, I am going to try to make this right with you. I'm very skeptical. Don't believe it. Whatever. I did tell him, though. I said, I do appreciate you at least calling me and facing the music to a certain degree. But facing the music isn't necessarily what he would do, because he would also say this. He said, Joe, I'm going to try to make this right. I'm going to try to send you $200 to $300 every 3 to 4 days. And, if there's warrants, there's warrants. It is what it is. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. And this is where Brian got a little less humble pie and a little more, thug life guy, which is crazy because, dude, you were on the run for a misdemeanor initially. Now, with these charges that I'm trying to get on you, I'm trying to hit you with all sorts of felonies. I really am. Because that's what you deserve to have. You deserve to go sit your ass down somewhere in a prison for a little bit of time. That's how I feel. Brian would tell me, I'm going to tell you this. I ain't turning myself in. And I was just about to tell him to go do the right thing. Hey, if you want to help me get my money back, let me get the reward money. Let me call 1-800-Crime Stoppers on you. And let me get that $1,000 reward. That would show some good faith right there. Brian said, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not turning myself in. And if I got to spend the rest of my life on the run, so be it. For a misdemeanor, Brian? Oh my, and you've never been to prison. You've been to jail plenty of times, but you ain't never been to prison. You're going there this time, though. There ain't no doubt about that. If you got to spend the rest of your life on the run for a misdemeanor, dude. So we would end up getting off the phone. Okay, well, hey, thanks again for calling. And take care of yourself. Is actually what I would say to this guy. Folks, my wife had just come home from work when he called. And, when I got off the phone, I told my wife, hey, that was Brian who called me. We're on our way to go pick up my truck right then and there. And I was telling my wife, I do appreciate the fact that he at least called. And as I was saying that to my wife, it kind of hit me, bung, like a jab, right in the face, right in the mouth. Bum, Joe, watch your mouth. Think about what you're saying. You appreciate the fact that this man called? What, to face the music? Because he ain't do none of that. He's fishing for information. He's trying to make these charges go away. And here's the crazy thing. This man didn't call me. This is what I really would realize. This man didn't call me because he wanted to. Because he felt bad about what he did. He probably feels bad because I'm making you feel bad. You didn't call me because you wanted to or because you had some moment of clarity or some whatever. You called me because you had to, Brian. I made you call me. I made you do that. You messed with the wrong guy, Brian. I ain't no tough guy. I ain't. But I'm a dude that will carry a grudge, man. Don't do me dirty, especially when I be bending over backwards trying to help you. Don't do that. I'm going to make it be known that that ain't going to fly. And I'm doing this not only for what you did to me, but also I feel like I'm the hero minus the cape. Not all heroes wear capes, Brian. I'm the hero to make it right for everybody else that you done did this to. You told me that if you got to spend the rest of your life on the run, so be it. You ain't going to have to do that. I'm going to make sure of that. You're going to be apprehended with the quickness. And you called and told me you want to try to get the money back to me. I'm not trying to hear that right now. Because certain things are priceless. And principle is one of those things. And just think about it like this. Had I never done anything that I've done, you'd have never called. And there'd never have been the conversation of you trying to do it right. You didn't try to do it right for nobody else, it doesn't seem like. Maybe you did, I don't know. I'd have taken off the prison uniform and put the guard one on. Joe the police for real now. And you don't mess with Deputy Dog, a.k.a. Joe Kashi, 6'9". You gonna learn, and you're gonna learn today. There's change coming down the pike, Brian, and that change is gonna involve a jail cell leading to a prison cell and a prison state ID number for you. And maybe this is what you need. Maybe this will in some way help you. I don't honestly know that it will, nor do I really care. But what I will tell you is in life, when you do shit, there's a reaction to that cause. There's an effect to that cause. And there are consequences to your actions, especially when they're criminal.